Welcome to Money Flow IQs, where smart money meets smart learning.
Today, we're looking at a real blueprint, a guide that's genuinely actionable, especially if you're new to investing. We want to help you get off that paycheck treadmill and, well, start building some real prosperity.
Yeah, the sources we've looked at really nail this starting point, this feeling of being, handcuffed by the paycheck.
It's that constant grind, right? The financial treadmill idea. You work hard, clock the hours, but somehow there's always more month left than money. It's exhausting.
It really is. And for a lot of folks, it's even tougher than just paycheck to paycheck. Our sources talk about this kind of financial roller coaster where the first check barely covers things, and by the time the third one rolls around, you're actually deeper in a hole.
Oof, yeah. So the mission today is clear. Break that chain. Help you shift from just being a worker, trading time for dollars, to becoming an owner, an investor.
Exactly. And the core idea we found is simple, but honestly profound. If you're already putting in 40, maybe 50 hours a week for your employer,
Yeah.
you can definitely find a way to invest, say, $40 or $50 a week for yourself, for your future.
That math makes sense. But let's be real, investing feels big. Intimidating for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So before the how-to, we need to talk about the mindset. Section 1, overcoming those financial barriers and, even trauma.
There's this conditioning, isn't there? We look at the stock market, the machine as the sources call it, and think it's rigged or just too complicated, something I can't do.
Right. We're sort of trained to just trust the bank, maybe let them handle the 401k because we assume they know better. They're the money people.
And that assumption points to a deeper thing, what the sources call a belief gap, sometimes rooted in actual financial trauma.
Trauma? How so?
Well, think about it. If you grew up only seeing maybe hustlers getting ahead fast while people working regular jobs stayed stuck, it can create this idea that maybe legitimate wealth building isn't possible, or that you have to do something shady.
So the barrier isn't really about being smart enough?
No. It's about lacking the right information and, crucially, lacking the belief that you can make the system work for you. You got to face the old stories, the Wall Street scams, the bank issues, but then accept that you have to play the game to win. Sitting out, that's a guaranteed loss.
Okay, so participation is essential. Once you accept that, then we can build the machine. And the focus here is on systems, not just lofty goals. A repeatable process.
Exactly. 4 fundamental rules to set things up. Rule number 1. You got to pick your brokerage account. Think of this as the main vehicle that gets you across the bridge to investing.
Okay, and the sources mentioned a few popular ones. TD Ameritrade, Schwab, Robinhood, Webull. Any quick guidance on picking one for a beginner?
Yeah, they differ a bit. Like Schwab or TD Ameritrade might offer more research tools, maybe feel a bit more robust. Robinhood or Webull are often seen as, really user-friendly, especially on mobile. Great for just getting started easily.
So it's about finding what feels comfortable for you to use regularly.
Pretty much. But one big warning from the material. Steer clear of using things like Cash App for this. They're just not built for serious automated investing. You need a proper brokerage.
Got it. Brokerage chosen. What's rule number 2? The step that really makes you an owner.
Yes. Rule 2, connect your bank account. And yes, you'll need to give your social security number, your address. That's standard for taxes and compliance. Don't let that stop you.
Why is this connection so important philosophically?
Because right now, your bank, it kind of owns your money, doesn't it? It lends it out, makes money off your money while it just sits there, connecting it to your brokerage. That's you taking back control, directing your capital. It's a huge mental shift from worker to owner right there.
Okay, I like that framing. It turns paperwork into a power move. Now, rule 3 sounds like the secret sauce. Automate.
Oh, it absolutely is. Automation is everything here. It takes the decision-making out of it each week or each payday.
Because otherwise you'll hesitate.
You will. Life happens. Expenses pop up. If you have to choose to invest each time, you'll often find a reason not to. Automate the transfer, and it just happens. It becomes this reliable trigger sending your money out to work for you.
Okay, rule 4 then. We've automated the transfer.
Yeah.
But how much and how often? This is where people might get stuck thinking they don't have enough.
Right. And the sources are clear. Start where you are. Could be $10, could be $50, $100, whatever works. The amount isn't the main thing at first.
That's about the habit.
It's about building that relationship with investing, making it familiar. The frequency is key. Rule 4, part 2, do it every single time you get paid.
Every time. Weekly, bi-weekly.
Whatever your pay cycle is, automate it to match. Weekly is great if possible. This makes it part of your financial DNA, like, grabbing coffee or paying rent. It just
The
happens.
sources used a military analogy here, didn't they?
Yeah, I liked that one. Your automated dollars become your soldiers. They're out there fighting for your financial freedom. And you're the general, giving those consistent marching orders every payday. You're commanding your money to free you.
Okay, the system's built, brokerage picked, bank linked, money moving automatically. Now, Section 3, what are the actual marching orders? What did these soldiers buy?
This is where we need a little philosophy shift for new investors. Stop chasing home runs. Forget trying to find the next Amazon overnight.
That's tempting, though.
Of course it is. But the sources stress. Consistent base hits get you into the Hall of Fame. Slow and steady growth is the name of the game, especially at the start.
Makes sense. So rule number 5, get specific. Buy index funds and ETFs. Can you break that down? Why these?
Okay, so index funds and ETFs, that stands for exchange-traded funds, are kind of like bundles of stocks. Instead of picking one single company and hoping it does well,
Which is risky.
very risky. You buy an ETF and you instantly own tiny pieces of maybe hundreds of companies, or all the top companies in a whole sector, like tech or healthcare. It's instant diversification, much lower risk. You're betting on the overall market or a whole industry, not just one horse.
So you're investing in the big players shaping the world, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Any specific examples the sources liked?
The classic starting point is an S&P 500 fund. Tickers like VOO or SPY are common ones. That means you own a piece of the 500 biggest U.S. companies. You're essentially owning a slice of the whole U.S. economy.
Okay, that feels safe. Diversified.
Exactly. And then you can add ETFs for specific trends you believe in. Maybe SMH for semiconductor chips, XLF for banks and financial companies, XLK for tech, even things like ETS for restaurants. Depends on where you see the world going.
All right. And rule 6, this one felt a little more specific, adding individual stocks. A tech one and a financial one. Doesn't that contradict the base hits idea?
It seems like it, but the context is important. This comes after you've got the main automation going into those broad ETFs. This isn't about betting the farm.
So it's a smaller piece.
Yeah, a much smaller piece. It's more about getting familiar with how individual companies move, learning a bit more actively. And the key thing now is accessibility. You don't need huge amounts of cash thanks to fractional shares.
Ah, right. Fractional shares. So you don't need, say, $200 to buy one share of Apple.
Exactly. If your automated transfer is $50, you can use that $50 to buy $50 worth of Apple stock, even if a full share costs more. You own a fraction.
So you can still own pieces of the big, important companies, even with small amounts.
Precisely. It lets you participate, learn, and align your portfolio, even just a little bit, with those major tech and financial trends driving things, without needing a fortune to start.
Okay, let's pull this all together. You followed the blueprint, picked the broker, linked the bank, automated the money transfer, and directed it mainly towards diversified, lower-risk ETFs, maybe with a tiny bit in specific stocks using fractional shares.
Just doing that, just setting up that system and letting it run, that puts you miles ahead. You're in a totally different category now. You're building.
And that consistency, that automation, it combats that financial exhaustion we talked about earlier.
Right.
No more stressing every week about if you can invest. It just happens.
It absolutely does. It helps break that cycle of financial trauma from past generations, that feeling of always being behind. You're building predictability. You know your soldiers are going out every payday.
The sources had a great practical tip, too, a kind of defensive line for when life tries to derail your plan.
Haha, yeah, the ultimate financial boundary. Someone asks you to splurge on something you don't need or wants to borrow money.
Yeah.
The perfect response, totally honest, sorry, I can't right now. All my money's tied up in investments.
And it's true, because you prioritized your automated investing.
It's true. You've made a decision. Your future comes first.
So the final thought, the big takeaway from all this material, it's pretty powerful.
It really is. It's this declaration, you listening right now. You genuinely have the power to be the first millionaire in your family line. But it doesn't happen by waiting for things to get easy. It won't be easy. It happens by starting now. By making the shift from worker to investor part of your financial DNA, activating it.
And remembering that core principle.
The money you put to work in the market, consistently, automatically, it will work way harder for you, maybe twice as hard, the sources say, than you work clocking in for that paycheck. You just need to activate your ownership. Start today.
Subscribe for more smart money ideas every week.